Hey everybody, Bill with Rust Stored Hot Rods. Well, we checked the timing chain. It's sloppy. So, went down to the parts house, got timing chain, gaskets, everything else I could think of that I might need. So I'm pulling this apart, see what we got. Now, there is signs of idiocy going on here. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so when I pulled the damper off, the nut was in there, but it was in there with glue, kind of threaded out, so the crank snout, the threads in the crank are stripped. So I'll have to retap that. And if you look here real close, see all this boogery here? Somebody's been hacking at it. Luckily I got some extra tin, because I don't think that's going to fly. A lot of silicone. A lot. There it is. Moment of truth. Let's see what we got. Well, it's not too terrible. It's got a lot of sludge down there. Looks like I missed a couple oil changes, at least. Okay, here's a moment of truth. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty sloppy. There's definitely time. I'm this close, can't stand it. I'm gonna pull one of the main caps. See how it looks. What do I got to lose, right? Come on, long-winded. Well, that doesn't look good at all. You see that? That's pretty much wiped. So, what do I do now? It had good compression. So put it together and run it. Run heavy oil in it. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't want to rebuild it. Nothing you can catch your nail on the crank. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put the pan gasket on it, run it for now. It had good oil pressure. I'll just keep good oil on it and a heavier oil. And be aware. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. So I just noticed here, these ears right here have been trimmed off with tin snips. This is something we used to do to cheat, to pull the Chevy, put a timing chain without having to pull the oil pan. You undo it, you pry it off, and you clip those and swedge it back in. That must be why this is all bent up around here. It's not the right way of doing it, but I've done it a lot in the past. Way back when, doing engine repair. That was the way it used to be done. Boy, even where the seal goes in, it's all mangled up. Some hack was working on this, that's for sure. Hopefully it wasn't me in the past. Who knows? Alright, now, gaskets. Put the new timing chain on it and put it back together. You gotta find some more tin. Cool. Here we go. So before you pull the timing chain off, got all the gaskets cleaned up, but before you pull the timing chain off, you line up, there's two dots, there's one dot on each one, just line them up so you got a straight line. Then pull them off, because it makes it easier to put the new chain on. Then you can pull the gear off the timing. Should come up without too much trouble. I don't know what I'm looking at it for. It's shot. Now, just for interest, you can see if it's got any kind of special cam in it, because it'd be labeled right here. 260H. Whatever that stands for, I don't know. 260H. Then to pull this gear off, you need a puller. And upon closer inspection, this is the washer that was on the bolt holding the damper on. See how it's all dished? Probably can't see it. Anyway, they tried pulling it on just using the bolt and stripped the bolt out. And then they probably just hammered it on, being real hacks. So hopefully I can just get a new bolt and chase these threads and put this on properly, hopefully. Because you're not supposed to hammer them on, the crankshaft damper. Because there's a thrust washer on the back of the crankshaft, and you can ruin your tolerance there and lose oil pressure. There are better pullers, but this is the one I have. See how it works. Not fluid not budging. Let's see, I want to do here. I want to do this, huh? Jeez Louise. There it goes. Let's see if the driver will do it now. Maybe. Oh yeah. There we go. And looking at this, you can see, wow. Looks like he was going around it with a punch to drive it in, instead of finding a socket or something to fit over it to do it right. A little bit of galling on the crank, but nothing terrible. I'm a professional. Okay. Now we can get the new timing set and put it on. This is nothing fancy. Pretty much just a stock unit. Now some say you're supposed to soak these in oil overnight, which probably isn't a bad idea. And I may still do that. But let's get on here and lined up. Now this only goes on one way, because you have to see the mark. It's got a reference mark. You got to be able to see that reference mark to get it on. Line up the keyway. And I'll find a socket that'll fit around that. So I got a couple big sockets. I think they're deep enough. If not, then I'll find a piece of pipe and I'll cut it to fit. Make sure I got the reference point out. I do. This one's okay to drive on. It doesn't go on that tight. Then it's on a keyway. Yeah, socket bottomed out. Is that gonna work? Okay, so I soaked the chain overnight, which is really overkill, but did it anyway. There's our dot right there. The dot here is right there, right where you can't see it. And just line them up. That looks like it. Pretty close. Everything moved a little bit, so I'm going to start one bolt and just turn it over. But I like to be anal about this. Dot dot. All nice and lined up. Yeah, we put a little bit of Loctite on here on these threads, or a whole lot everywhere. Make sure you spill it all over yourself. Fascinating stuff here. And then you just torque it down. Book calls for 20 foot-pounds, which I already have the torque wrench set up to. Click, click. And done. Now there is a possibility, sometimes the timing chains will drag on the block. So you need to look down in there and make sure it's not. Sometimes the chain will actually hit some of the castings. No, we're good. It was a double roller we took off there. This is a double roller. Now we can put our timing chain gasket on. I like just to put a little bit on there. Just a thin film. Then you stick the gasket on there. Come on. Go. I'd already changed the seal. This timing cover wasn't that bad. I was able to straighten it out. Same thing here. Voids it may have. When you get old, you can't see nothing anymore. Well, I don't see why that won't work. That's going to work. I'm going for that. I think that's fine. I think I'm just being too anal about it. It'll be good. I gotta double check my surfaces here, make sure it's good, ready to go. So I decided I'm just gonna go ahead and do this old school because I've already got the gaskets and I don't feel like making the 25-mile round trip to go get a one-piece gasket. So, and this would work just fine. I've already wiped everything off with brake cleaner, get it nice and clean. So now I'm gonna make a small coat, thin coat on the block, set the gaskets, and get this pan on. Here, one side. Extra little spooge in there. This doesn't take a whole lot. Just enough to make an extra seal. You can probably just get away with just doing it in the four corners, but this is safer. There we go. I'm going to take this gasket and just kind of mash it into the goo so she stays put. Be easier if I didn't have the flywheel on here like an idiot, but I do. Little dab will do you on both sides here. Like I say, probably not necessary, but just a little coat. Oh yeah. That's spooging down in there. That's good. So you always, even with the one-piece gaskets, you always put a little bit of extra in the corners. Now I'm using the thicker gasket. The kit comes with two. This is the thicker one. That looks good. Now I'll go all around the whole thing again. especially on here, because this is the part that's bent up. On the oil pan. I straightened it. I think it'll be fine. But just to be on the safe side. This is fascinating stuff here, huh? Squeezing goo. All right, go on the other side. Started? Yeah, it did. I need to take everything down kind of snug. Start off with. I'll tighten it down so I can see it spooge out a little bit. Alright, now I get the other smaller bolts. What I like to do, if I'm not in a hurry, I'll snug everything down just so it's making good contact, it's solid. I'll let it dry for 24 hours so the RTV can compress a little bit and set there, fill the gasket. Then I come around and snug it up again. Now, because this was kind of mangled, this is probably silly, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just going to run a bead along inside here. Down to the corner here, we're spooge it out. Makes it look better if nothing else. Alright, that's the pan gasket on. Like I said, I'm gonna let that set. And everybody else in the hot rodding community, if you haven't heard about Half-Ass Customs, his shop burned down, keep him in your prayers. That's a horrible thing. That just made my heart drop when I saw that video. This is a shout out to him. He's he does a heck of a show. He does a lot of content. So keep him in your prayers. That's all for now. Thanks. See you later.